I'm going to close. I'm going to close with a testimony. And I'm going to make this brief. Because I want you to know, number one, God will be glorified. And number two, I want you to know that I'm not speaking something that I wouldn't do myself. Amen? Okay. 2 years ago, back in 2008, I want to say I had one of the most supernatural, off the chain, off the charts kind of year. God was just showing me revelations and showing me things, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I couldn't really take it all in, and it was just amazing. And then after all of that, he gives me a new assignment. He says, I want you to go and I want you to resign. My first reaction, I call it Gideonitis. My first reaction was, well, God, are you sure? Well, God, if that's you, do this. If that's you, do that. Well, do it this way, put it this way, turn it around, do all that. And you know what? He did. I asked him for about 5 or 6 confirmations because I felt justified. I said, God, I know what I'm asking you for is ridiculous, but what you're telling me to do is ridiculous. You're telling me to leave my job. I don't have a sugar daddy. I'm not dating nobody. I'm not married. I'm a single mom. I got a fat mortgage. How are these bills going to get paid? How am I going to feed my children? But he said, go. And so I finally went. And I remember the day that I had to leave. And on that day, I had a whole meeting to go to. And when I got there, one of the first people that I seen was you, Pastor. And I was in tears. I said, God just told me to leave my job, and I'm going crazy, and how I'm going to feed my children, and how am I going to do this and do that. And if you ever talk to Pastor Jackson, if you ever talk to her, sometimes you'll notice she'll speak real softly. I think she's like praying somewhere in the back of the conversation she's doing. So I was talking to her, and she was just like, but you got Jesus. And that snapped me out of my little panic attack I was having. I said, you're right. I heard you. So I left. And I said, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. Now, I'm still naive, not realizing that he switched my assignment and sent me someplace else. I'm still thinking, okay, well, in 2 weeks, God got something better. I'm just going to go ahead and go to work and all this kind of stuff. Not so. Every other day, I'm coming to the Lord and I'm saying, Lord, where do you want me to go? Do you want me to go back to corporate America? You want me to go here? You want me to go there? Now, don't misunderstand this. I was not in jeopardy of losing my job, not as far as I know anyway. I was making anywhere from 50 to 70 a year. I was taking care of my kids. But I had a bigger desire at that time. My bigger desire was to serve God. I was tired of running. I was tired of rebelling. I was tired of half doing it. And I said, God, I am at this place where I got to serve you, because if I don't serve you, I can't live. That was something that I finally got to. So he said, go. So he sent me out. I'm praying, I'm crying. I'm praying, I'm crying. And I'm like, God, I don't understand this, because even when I told saints that I had to leave, they looked at me a little strange. My family members don't understand. But then again, I don't even understand. What am I supposed to do with this? He said, be faithful. I said, God, this hurts. So months, weeks turns into months, and I'm still talking to God, and I'm still reaching out to him. And then it just seemed like one after the other, I was going through persecution. I was going through a whole bunch of other stuff, and it was hurting. It was hurting me so bad. But God said, stand still. I'll vindicate you. Because up until that time, I didn't know how to do that. I come from Brooklyn. You bother me, I'm gonna bother you back. You know, so God was teaching me how to stand still and see his salvation. So now here we go, and you know, I'm starting to see I had good credit. My good credit name was gone, and you know, my house was gone, and the car, I had to give up my car. You know, I was able to go shopping wherever I wanted to go. I couldn't go shopping no more. I had timeshare. I couldn't do that anymore. I like to go on weekend getaways. I couldn't do that anymore. I was only in this one place that was so terribly uncomfortable. There were so many times that I went to God and said, I can't take no more. But if you suffer, So I'm looking around and I'm like, well, ain't nobody else going through this, at least from what I can see. And the Lord says, I want you to walk this thing out. I want you to listen to me. I need you to understand that you don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of my mouth. At that time, I learned how to shut down the naysayers because I had to walk based upon my ability to hear. So you learn how to tune out a lot of noise. Girl, they talking about you. That's all right. Girl, they can't stand. That's fine too. That's fine too. I'm okay with that because you don't understand, sister. I don't have time to gossip. I don't have time to sit down and talk. I don't have time to go through all that nonsense. I'm on assignment, and right now I don't even understand what the assignment is because as far as I'm concerned, I am on the cross. I am suffering. I am feeling pain. This thing hurts, and yet he is telling me, don't move. Don't move because I'm not finished yet. So I said, God, okay. I see you and I have a difference of opinion on how much I can bear. Because that's what your words say. You ain't gonna put more on me than I can bear, but we got a difference of opinion here. Because you're putting it on. And then in the process of all this, I have to go help somebody. I gotta go minister. I gotta go talk to somebody. I couldn't stop. Get up and go prophesy. Get up and go lay hands. Get up and go do this. Get up and go do that. Didn't matter what I felt like. He didn't ask me if I felt like it. He gave me an assignment without your consent. So I said, okay, God, if I stand still at this point, because I told Bishop, I've lived on the other side of the obedience. I've lived watching and waiting for the other shoe to drop. I lived on that side. I know what it's like to be backslidden. I know what it's like to be rebellious. I know what it's like to be disobedient. So now I came, and when I came with a broken and a contrite heart. And I said, God, here I am, regardless of what the process is, regardless of what you got to take away from me, regardless of what you got to break off of me, I'm not moving. I wanted to move, but I didn't move. I prayed to move, but I didn't move. And it's amazing how people start scattering. The friends you thought you had, you don't have them no more. The people you thought had your back, they ain't there no more. The only thing now, you're sitting here and you're walking like this. Half the time, don't even know where you're going. But God is saying, come on, I got you. So I continued to walk. There were so many times that I came up here and I was like, Lord, I can't minister. Yes, you can. Lord, I'm broken. I need to be ministered to. You'll get yours. In your obedience, so I still had to give. Tithe? Oh, that's not optional. You still got to tithe. I don't care if you only got $10 that way. Well, let me get my dollar. It ain't much. It was so many times I felt so bad because I was used to giving. I was used to having a couple of hundred. I was used to having these things. And here I am counting pennies. But he said, stand. He said, I made you a lot stronger than you think you are. You couldn't have paid me to do something like this. I was the person who they considered bougie. I was the person who considered, oh, she has everything. I was the person that they go to. And now I stood in the need. But then I had to fight. I had to fight against this spirit called bitterness. Because in all of this stripping and all this taking away and in all this breaking that he was doing, I turned around and I said, well, where's everybody at, God? Why didn't you call somebody to help me? Why did this have to be taken? Why didn't that have to be taken? Because I need you to listen to me and to understand that I'm your portion, that I'm your provider, that nothing moves unless I say that it moves. You need to understand exactly who I am to you. Your grandmother told you, the bishop told you, the pastors told you, but now I'm going to show you. So I said, okay, Lord, I'm still working it out. Do I have regrets? Not one. Because somewhere in the process of all that kicking and screaming I was doing, and yeah, I was kicking and screaming. I was praying too, but I was kicking and screaming. And in the process of all that kicking and screaming, all of a sudden I seen things like patience. I seen things like long suffering. I started seeing joy, even though it didn't make sense. I started seeing the peace that surpasses. My life was a whirlwind. My life didn't make sense, but I still had peace. I started seeing things that Paul was talking about in the book of Galatians when he said the fruit of the Spirit. I started seeing those, and I said, oh, that's what this is about. I don't say this and share this with you because I want you to look and marvel at me, because I am no better than anybody. I would beg to say that I'm probably worse. But it is for the glory of my God. It is for the glory of my God, because in this broken vessel, he put the desire to help other people. In this broken vessel, he put the desire to encourage someone else. In this broken vessel, he put the desire of, well, let me teach you so you don't have to suffer the way that I did. In this broken vessel, he put things in me that man cannot take away. They can't do it. They tried. Oh, the devil tried. He sent them, the choice ones. Get thee behind me. I'm on assignment. God bless you.